Welcome back to another video from Dr. Lock. We're going to look at programming a Nissan smart key, proximity key for a Elgrand E52. And this video is more for locksmiths, just to take you through actually what we're doing and how we're doing it and show you how it's done. Okay, so today we are in a parking lot and we're going to be working on the Nissan Elgrand. Try and program up one of these smart keys. Going to try it with the M8. The battery voltage is real bad, so we're going to see how we go here. Probably not going to work, but let's try. Haven't had much luck with the M8 programming some of these smart keys. There's our smart key. I had my smart key here somewhere. Okay, so on this video here we've got the M8, which is a cheaper version of the MVP, and we've got our smart key. We're using the right dongle G. The remote seems to be the right one. We programmed one last week, everything worked fine. Everything was not a problem. So we're trying to use the M8 here to save a couple of tokens. Each token's like $60, $70 here. So I'm going to try the M8. I haven't had much luck in the past using the M8. To be quite honest, the MVP did a much better job, had better menus, and allowed me to find the system a lot better, and actually did work on the imported Nissan proximity. So before I start with the MVP, I'm going to try with the M8, see if I can do it, save myself a few dollars. This video is more or less just to show that I'm using both machines. A lot of people ask if I buy this machine or if I buy this machine, can I do it? It might be in the menu, it might say it can do it, but there's no guarantee that it will actually work, or the car will accept it. So having good machinery does help. That's why I carry both with me, and if one doesn't work, the other one will. And of course, being a locksmith, I'm trying to save $1 along the way so I can maximize my profits. So the M8 was a fail on this. I couldn't get it to work. Moved over to the MVP with the smart dongle here, and used the Chinese code calculator. That worked pretty well. Calculated my BCM into a pin code, which was cool, and then I could pretty much start programming. Okay, so I started programming. I used the first, I have four tokens left on my machine. I used the first one. I tried everything as normal. I wrote it all down after the previous time we did a Elgrand E52. Everything went smooth on that one, so I wrote it all down on how to do it. Go to Nissan, pick your system. It's the one without the twist, and so on and so forth. So I'm following all the prompts. I've got the right machine. I've got 4 tokens left, and pretty much I go through and try and get the key to actually enroll. Where I found it kind of interesting on this particular model compared to the last model, they're both the same age and both same everything. We followed everything to the letter, close the doors, hazards on, all these type of things. Is that on this particular one, it just didn't accept the key. And this is where I'd like to make the note that there's no golden dragon here along the way. Working on cars and doing car keys can absolutely be a complete shit fight. One day it works, next day it doesn't, next day it's the smallest of things that's wrecking your day and not allowing you to complete your job. So a lot of people seem to think that, oh, if I buy all this machinery, then everything's going to be fine, it's all going to be apples, but that's clearly not the truth. I spoke to some technical support people and some good friends, locksmiths I know, have been doing it same as I have, better than I am, and they said it could be as simple as the battery in the remote control. It's been sitting on the shelf for a year or two, and all of a sudden it's not working again. Okay, so we changed batteries, things like that, and it really didn't help the situation, but it highlights that the smallest of problem can stop you from actually getting this key to work. Some other avenues we crossed were battery voltage. This car had been sitting there for 4 or 5 days, so we completely boosted the battery right up. That still didn't make any difference, and there goes another token. It's another $60 down the drain. At this stage we're at about $120 plus invested just in tokens. And then we tried the doors, making sure they're all closed. This particular car had a small ding on the back, and I was worried the rear door wasn't actually closing properly, and that wasn't doing that, so we tried again on that. So there goes token number 3. Still no joy. And as you see here, I'm going through and just converting the BCM to a pin code, and the pin code was correct. It was talking to the vehicle. The vehicle had enough power. The remote seemed to have some power in it, so all of the boxes were kind of ticked there. The machine we're using is the MVP. It's costing us a token each time, and it was reading and talking to the car completely fine. It allowed us to turn the steering lock off, turn the ignition on, at which stage it then tells you to turn the ignition off and start your programming procedure. So that's pretty much what we did. We followed it step by step, letter for letter. Last week it worked. This week it completely didn't work at all. So I just want to show you the frustration that's involved in making keys for these type of vehicles. Although they're not that new, although they're not that special, there's still a very limited amount of information out there. The people who make the machines, yeah, they do give you some sort of tech support, but generally speaking, it's not a black and white line that you can just follow and get to your destination at the end of the day. There are some things there that, there's always snags along the way. Everything from not having the doors closed to an internal light not working can make all the difference whether or not your key's going to actually program. So on this particular vehicle here, we burned 4 tokens. Now what we've quoted for the vehicle and our profit margin, generally speaking, you would estimate about 1 token, $60. Then you would estimate a remote control, so there's another $80 to $150. Then you estimate your time, your call out, removing the door lock, making a key, and all of these sorts of things. Now where it really starts to get a bit hairy is you've got to remember too, you're sitting in the car in a parking lot in the rain, in the heat, and there's all these undesirable elements, people driving past, people wanting to come up to you and talk to you about their safe locks or Juju keys for Great Wall of China or Juju Kia keys. They see you there and they think it's a great time to sit and talk while you've got your ass on the line trying to make $1 and you're burning tokens at $60, $70 a piece. Your customer's sitting there waiting, saying how long is this going to be, and your machine's not working. So I just wanted to push that out there of how much of a shit fight it can be to actually get keys enrolled and working, and why the price is what it is, and often a lot of people don't understand what's involved. Another factor here you've got to really consider is that the van, you're turning up in a van, you've got this machinery, you've got a good code cutting machine, you're buying tokens, advertising, all of these things. When you really add it up on how much all these things are costing, and then when you turn up to a job, you've got no guarantees. Especially with a car like this, it should be guaranteed, should be a slam dunk, but often things just don't go to plan. And that's pretty much the meat and the sandwich of this video, is to say, look, I've been doing it a little while, and I still have troubles with it from time to time. It's not guaranteed. Here I'm actually just turning it on as it suggests. Turns on, it turns off, and I'm walking through those prompts on the screen. Now, as you see, the lights are actually flashing. Now's the time when it should be starting to program. I put the key at the 5 o'clock position, and the little key symbol on the dash should flash 5 times. And that's just what I'm doing right now. But what I'm getting is a da-na-na-na-na from the actual car, so it's not taking it. Normally the dash would light up and say, I've accepted this code, everything's good. At which stage then you can either program another one or disconnect your tester. Disconnecting your tester at the wrong time, or your machine, can cost you money. That cost me money a couple of weeks ago. I unplugged too soon, and sure enough, I had to replug back in. Cost me an extra $60 just to plug back in, because I didn't program in the remote and the key. I only programmed in one, and then I tried to program in another. So here you see I've done it like 3 or 4 times, lights flashing, the car's sort of accepting it but not accepting it. There's no instruction manual here, and basically what's happening is I've tried time and time again. On this car alone, it was $60 times 4, so there's $240 gone, when it should have been a $60 investment, plus the remote, plus my time, plus. So already what I'm trying to say is that although you've bought the machine, you've bought the tools, you've got the van, you've got everything right going for you, it can still not work, and you can still be there not being able to provide the customer with what they're asking for, so you won't get paid on this particular type of job. On this job we still will be going back with another machine. I'm very tempted to take the K518, which is a new machine we've got, a Chinese machine. I want to see if that can do it, because it seems to have some sort of Nissan. I'll keep you posted on that, because we're coming back to this car because we had no luck today, no success. 2 hours down, $240 plus time plus labour, completely gone to the wind. At which stage I decided to make a key for the door so I could open and close the door at least. Being a hot day, 36 degrees outside, which is Celsius, it's just not often a nice scenario, you know. Plus we've got security going around, plus we've got people who want to walk and talk. You know, it's just funny when somebody comes past you, you've got your ass hanging out, you're trying to get something done, you've got the phone ringing, it's not programming, and then people want to come talk to you about their gun safe, and it's just absolutely annoying as fuck. So yeah, this video is just to show you that sometimes it isn't what it seems, and that you can overinvest in things which don't have a lot of money in them. We've overinvested in our tools, we've overinvested in our key programmers, but we do that for a reason, so that we can get the job done. And this is one of those times when you end up with not getting the job done. You know, programming backwards and forwards with the MPV, and coming up with absolutely no success. So now we're going to order some different remote controls. We're going to try a different key programmer, see if we can match them all up, because being a Japanese import, there is definitely no instructions, and if they are, they're definitely not in English. So just moving around the car now. They are a great car, and they are out there. A lot of people are starting to, you know, use these Japanese imported cars. One thing I will say for anyone else who's working on an Elgrand E52, one thing I liked was just that the door lock was very similar to a Toyota door lock, where I didn't need to remove the door trim. I could simply just remove a grub screw on the side, pull the lock out. It had a great key code on it, punched it into the Silka Futura, punched me out a key perfectly, and we were all set to go. Just if you're watching the screen now, I'm just doing exactly what it tells me on the screen of the key programming. Turn it on, turn it off, push it once more, it starts to blink. Put the key near the on and off button, and you should see that key symbol blink 5 times. And in this instance, it did blink, but it just kept blinking, just would not accept that key, which really leaves the thing of whether or not we had the right key or not. But going over the specs, it should have been the right key. It's a football shaped one, dual sliding doors, which this was dual sliding door, but you know, just had no luck. The car would just not simply accept the key. So thanks for listening. This is just the rant, just to go through, you know, 4 tokens later, and the machine, the MVP, did turn it on and off, did disengage the steering lock. It was doing what it was meant to be doing. So I'm really wondering if the problem was there, whether or not there's some remote control that's not listed for that particular make and model. Probably going to have to go over the VIN number now and see if we can track down something from that, or find some discrepancies as to why this was not working, and all the rest. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, exact same procedure, worked perfectly, flawlessly with the MVP, and had no troubles. And that took about 20 minutes just to work out the settings, because of the smart dongle on the back. But what they don't tell you about the smart dongle is you don't have to say it's a smart dongle, you just select the dongle that they want you to be, because it does all of them. So anybody else who's in that particular, if it says dongle G or dongle D, just pick dongle D if you're using a smart dongle, which we were in this instance. So back to the drawing board on this one, and I just want to share my frustration with you, because if you're in the same predicament, or if you're thinking about investing in programming car keys, you might appreciate being told firsthand that sometimes shit ain't like that. Sometimes it's just not straightforward, sometimes there's no help, there's no technical support, and sometimes you're left there pretty much to work it out. It's hit and miss on some particular vehicles. Some vehicles you can program quite easily with the cheap programmer, make some money. Some vehicles you might be over investing or cutting a loss until you actually find out what the problem is, or how to do it. Alright, so that's our video for today. Thanks for watching, and if you appreciate the comments, give us a thumbs up. If you're not too happy with them, just put a comment, don't give us a thumbs down. There's no need for that, but put your comment there. We're happy to see them. Thanks for watching.